Hello, my name is Kai, and I am a bit of a rambler. I like to travel, learn, and tell stories. And today we're going to ramble on. So I'm in Cusco, Peru, which absolutely rocks. It's dusty. That's my only complaint for this city. And I mean, they're doing a ton of construction in my neighborhood, specifically San Sebastian. So, but I think it's generally dry because we're at 11,600 feet or whatever it is. And yeah, I can say whatever it is because you can climb a mountain for the extra few hundred feet if I'm minus a few hundred or plus a few hundred. But I've been digging Cusco a lot. And no small part of that is my absurd apartment. I had that problem with Airbnb, which Airbnb reached out to fix themselves, and they found me this place and gave me a $50 credit or something, because it was $50 above what I wanted to pay. And so I got this place, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, huge living room, huge full kitchen, and a washing machine and like a laundry room as well. It's pretty palatial. It doesn't have floor-to-ceiling windows, but it has like waist-to-ceiling windows in 2 of the rooms and 1 of the bedrooms and 1 of the in the living room. Giant flat-screen TVs, hardwood flooring, tiles, everything's new. It's very nice. It's very nice living here. And so this is $400 a month, which is more expensive than I like to pay for apartments usually. But if you're used to living in someplace like the US, you can understand that this is a pretty solid find. Except I just found another apartment that looks as big in the listing, and it's $100 cheaper. So $300 is what I like to pay for a nice private apartment, usually. And I'm going to move to a different apartment next week or something. And yeah, I'm excited to see what that one's like because it has the same number of bedrooms and bathrooms, giant living room. It looks amazing. And it's only $300 instead of $400. It's actually a little less than $300 per month. So Cusco, wow, certainly has some nice lodging to take advantage of. And if I didn't get one of these apartments, that would have been fine because there are tons of hotels and motels and living apartments that you can directly rent from the locals and directly rent apartment buildings here, especially in the neighborhood I'm in, San Sebastian. Oh, that I do live not too far away from the airport, so you might hear an airplane landing now and then. But, I mean, it's pretty quiet. I still work overnight so that it's just easier for me to do any audio work. But, yeah, this is a nice, comfortable place for me to live. The beds are very comfortable. I hope the beds in this new place are as comfortable as the beds in this first place because they're pretty comfortable here. And what else is really nice about Cusco is that it's quite chilly a lot of the time, especially at night. The temperature plunges really quickly. So there are really thick comforters that are good because I can use them for audio work. They're great at trapping sound. And also, they're super comfortable to snuggle up in. And I am spending a lot more time in bed than I normally do if I'm not out exploring the ruins, which I do like to do, or I'm not doing audio work or playing video games for the Patreon. I'm probably cozying up in my bed with the comforter, reading a book or playing on Lemmy or browsing whatever, and just hanging out swathed in this very soft cocoon. Ooh, speaking of which, Hollow Knight is the next video series for Patreon, so that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to launch a Patreon. I'm building up some content for it first and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. But in the beginning, I'm just going to play some video games and tell some stories, and we can just kind of hang out while I'm playing the video games. I won't be live streaming. I can just upload them directly to Patreon, apparently, the videos and stories that I'll be recording. So that'll be fun. I know I should look into Twitch, and I still haven't, but people keep telling me about it. So just like people kept telling me to start a podcast for 10 years, and then I finally did. So maybe I'll look into Twitch in a decade or something. Yeah, so this crazy new giant apartment, I mean, the shower is very spacious. The shower is bigger than the last bathroom I had when I was living in Colombia. Like just the shower part of the bathroom. And they're not huge, but it's a very comfortable shower and a very comfortable bathroom. And there are two of them. I only use one. I don't want to clean anything, you know. I only use one bedroom also, but it's just nice having all this space. It's actually a little too big. I don't need the extra bathrooms or bedrooms, but if I'm getting the bedrooms, I'm just getting them for free. So even though I don't use them and I'm just walking from the kitchen to the living room back to the bedroom I like the best, which is the one most isolated from the roadway, it's just nice having, this space. And I feel more crafty, like I've been doing stuff. I made my water filter. Did I talk about that? Oh, man. Okay, whatever. I have a giant new apartment. There are windows. It's lovely. If you want to live very, very, very comfortably, Cusco, Peru. Cusco, Peru is a place with a lot of very nice apartments for you to choose from and live inside for $300 to $400. Well, $300 a month. So I got this giant one, but all the regular, really nice private apartments are also $300 or less. I just happened to get the Palace accidentally. So if you're going to start moving around and you like mountain towns especially, I mean, Cusco's great. And all the food here is so good. I finally started trying some of the local foods. I'll get into that a bit later. I just wanted to say that I moved, when I saw the listing for this apartment, I was like, well, it can't be that huge as it looks in the pictures, because they always, like a lot of Airbnb listings, take a picture from the corner of a room so a room looks bigger. And these rooms looked huge. The living room is enormous. The living room is larger than most apartments I rent on Airbnb, just the living room by itself. And so I was like, well, it can't be that big. And then I moved in and it was even bigger than it looked in the pictures. And I was like, holy moly cow duty pie. And I just can't get over the size of this place. And I just want to share that, you can rent really nice giant places in Cusco, Peru if you want to do a quick flight down here. $300 a month. Like, goodbye financial stressors. There's plenty of room for activities. So this is my nice new apartment. I was going to go around looking, because if this place is available for $300, then if I go ask the hotels in town for a monthly rental, I'll probably be able to find a place, a very comfortable private apartment for about $100 a month, based on what I know about housing prices. But there's just no need to. I'm paying $300 a month. I have pretty good sound isolation. I have a comfortable audio setup. I'm comfortable. I'm not dying. I'm not financially struggling like I would be if I was in the United States. So I'm willing to pay, probably $150 to a couple hundred extra dollars a month for this nice apartment that is perfectly accessible to you as well, and anybody listening to this. They're just available apartments on Airbnb. You can buy them right away. So let's move on. I wrote down, I want to mention, my bottle bidet is still with me. I love my bottle bidet. That's just a water bottle, little hole poked right under the cap area on the neck of the bottle, and then it shoots out a thin stream of water when I squeeze the bottle, so it's a bidet. And it's the same bottle bidet that I originally made back in Panama, I think I originally made it. And it's still working great. good plastic bottle design Dasani. It's still holding up. And I'm just so happy with it. I'm so happy I don't have to mess with toilet paper, and I feel very hygienic using a bidet, and I love that now. It was easier to choose this apartment and other apartments without even worrying about what the bathroom looked like. Because if I have a bidet, that makes my bathroom 5-star. And now I have a bottle bidet, so every bathroom I go to, even public ones here, have a bidet because I'm carrying my bottle with me. Fill up the bottle with water from the sink, use a bidet. It's fantastic. If I go to the mall or whatever, I don't go to the mall, but wherever I go, if there's a bathroom, now I have a bidet with me all the time. It's truly wonderful. It really is a improvement in my already quite comfortable quality of life. So, bottle bidet, thumbs up, streams out. So there are tons of local breweries here. There's a lot of artisanal, like craft beers. And then there's a couple there's 3 main big breweries just in the city of Cusco. And a guy told me yesterday that if I go to them on the weekends, I can try their beer. And it's the weekend today, so I might do that after I go get some lunch and walk around today. My favorite one so far is called Seven Vidas, 7 Lives, and 7 Lives Cat. A lot of countries, actually, I found out, say 7 lives instead of 9 lives for cats, and I don't know why. But this 7 Vidas beer is really good. My favorite one is the quinoa 7 Vidas beer. It's quinoa, I can't remember, but it's really cool. The cat's wearing a Peruvian hat. And it was a delicious beer. I climbed a mountain over to overlook Cusco and drank this tasty Siete Vidas beer. And then I drank a bunch of Pilsner yesterday, or a few days ago, and that was not as good. And then I drank the Dorada, which was very good, but didn't drink too much. I drank 4 beers, and I was happy with the amount of food and beer I had. It was good. Okay, my list, I feel like I talked about some of this before, so I'm sorry if I have. I guess I'll try and go through it quick. Have I? I'm not sure. Anyway, I was introduced to this apartment and shown around by this guy named Percy, and he asked me what I did for a living. He showed me around the apartment, really funny too. He said, "This is a bedroom," and then he took me down the hall and he says, "This is a bedroom," and then took me to the third one and did the same thing. Did the same thing with the bathrooms too. "This is a bathroom." And then he took me, he was like, come. "This is a bathroom." I was like, "Okay, great, thank you." And he asked how many people were with me, and I was like, just me living in this giant palace. And Percy asked me what I did for a living, and it's really difficult to explain to people that I don't have a job really anymore, that I'm just living off passive income from investments after saving all my money teaching English. That's not something most people understand, especially coming from a younger appearing person. And so I just told Percy, "Well, I teach English." And he's like, "Great. Okay, you can teach me English. You and I can talk." And I didn't want to, but I had to say, "Oh, no. This is my vacation. I'm just vacationing now. So no teaching English." And he was like, "Oh, you can teach me sometimes, and we can talk, and I can learn some English." And I had to be like, "No, I'm not going to teach any English. It's just a vacation for me right now. Solo es vacaciones ahora. Gracias." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And that's why I have to come up with a better job title to tell people so that I don't become obligated to teach everyone English. People think time is free, and I like my time. The reason I have so much time now is because I spent so much time and effort devoted to getting more time for myself. So I want that time for myself. I don't want to spend it teaching people English for free. His English was pretty good already anyway. And also, it's my time. It's my time. It's my vacation time, Percy. He was a nice guy, though, and we talked a little bit, and then he eventually left me alone. I got to settle in and everything, and I walked around the apartment checking, just making sure everything was working. And I walked into one of the bedrooms, and when I walked out, I closed the door by standing on the outside of the door and pulling it closed. And when I pulled it closed in the door frame, the door got stuck in the door frame, like it wouldn't close all the way into the door frame, and the doorknob came off in my hand. And I was like, oh no, what? It was one of those perplexing moments because everything is very solid. I checked the other doors, all the other doors in the apartment, if that was like a problem with Peruvian doorknobs, but they all held very strong. They were normal they were normal doorknobs. They didn't fall apart in your hands. But this one bedroom just had a bum, and it was only one side. The other side didn't fall out when one side fell out or one side was pulled off. It was just that side of the doorknob was very easy to pull off, apparently. And I was so surprised. I just messaged the people, the hosts, like, hey, your doorknob fell off. And I sent them a picture. And then right after I messaged them, I figured out that if I twisted the other side of the doorknob and then slid it in, then it would like lock back into place. It was still easy to pull out, but I could put the doorknob back in. And so I messaged them, I don't need help fixing it. I've already reattached the doorknob. I just wanted to let you know. And the host here, for some reason, just doesn't respond directly to the messages I'm saying. They just have a one-sided conversation, basically. So she sent back, okay, we're sending help immediately. And I wrote back again, oh, no problem. I've already fixed it. You don't need to send any help. And she wrote back, Percy is coming right now. And I was like, okay. So it's only like 10 minutes later or something. And Percy knocks on the door. Hey. And I take him to see the doorknob. And I give it to him. And he like looks at it. And he does this very common thing when something breaks in an apartment. If they don't want to fix it, they attach it and then treat it very delicately and then go, see, it's fine. As long as you treat it super, super delicately. They don't say the delicate part, but they treat it very delicately. So he couldn't figure out how to reattach the doorknob. And so I showed him, if you turn this and then push it in, let this go and push it again, it'll click into place. He's like, oh. And then he very slowly and delicately closed the door. And he saw the door frame. And I had already told him, like, the door gets stuck here on the door frame. So he closed it on the door frame, and he's like, oh, it gets stuck on the door frame. And I was like, yep. And he pulled it, and he just pulled it super, super slow and holding on to part of the doorknob, it, like, bolted to the door, not just the doorknob, so it wouldn't pull right off. He did pull it off himself the first time, and then the second time, he just closed it really delicately. And then when he was done, he turned to me and spread his hands. I was like, see, it's okay. Just pull slowly. It's fine. It's not broken. I was like, well, I know. I fixed it already. And I told you about that. But thank you very much. And he didn't leave right away. He asked me if the couch was okay and if the kitchen was okay. And it's all fine. Like, it all is fine. I told him everything else was working fine. He's like, okay, so what you doing? And I was like, oh, just getting settled in, just trying to decide where I'm going to go. He's like, yeah, that's good. And then he walked away from me toward the living room, like not toward the exit, like toward the windows of the living room. And he's like, come here. So this is Avenida de la Cultura. And he told me the name of the road, and I was like, cool. That is the market over there. You can buy vegetables. You could buy fruit. You could buy chicken. Market right there. And I was like, cool. He's like, see that? And I looked down at the road. He was pointing to a bus. That is a bus. You can take the bus up to Avenida Sol. Oh, and he just listed a bunch of places. I was like, great, thank you so much. Good to know. And there are a lot of buses on this road, so it is really easy. And they're all only one sol, which is really cool. So you can just hop on any bus, or I can just hop on any bus, pay 1 sol, and get to any part of the city, and even to the bus station so I can get to other cities for 1 sol, or 30 cents. Less than 30 cents, almost 25 cents, whatever. Close to 30 cents. And I let him talk for like 10 minutes before I said, well, I'm going to go, I can't remember, I'm going to go shower, I'm going to go set something up. Have a good day. And he left eventually, and then he hasn't insisted on coming by and like saying hello and having conversations every day, so that was nice. But the host said the same thing to me after she met me and we talked for a little while in Spanish. She was like, so can I come by and you teach me English? You can just teach me English. I'll learn very fast. And I was like, that's cool. I'm not going to teach any English while I'm here, though. I'm just going to vacation. She's like, oh, okay, that's fine. So I avoided my teaching responsibilities. The new people might ask also, but by the time I move in, I'm going to say I'm something else. I'm going to say I'm a writer or a podcaster. Maybe I'll just say I'm a podcaster. That's popular enough now. Probably everyone knows what a podcaster is now, regardless of the country they're in. So I climbed this mountain, and there's a nature reserve near this nice apartment I have, and it takes, 90 minutes, something like that, to get to the entrance of the nature reserve itself. Probably closer to an hour, actually. It didn't take that long. But it was the first time I was going there, so I was walking, sort of meandering through all of the neighborhoods and checking out the local shops, seeing which ones accepted Visa and which ones don't, which are most shops here in Cusco don't accept Visa cards, but some of them do. And you might have to pay a surcharge of like 4.5%, which I did once for beer, but that's the only store that charges a surcharge. All the other places just charge the flat soles rate. And I have a no transaction fee credit card, so it just automatically transfers it with no extra fees. It's a pretty solid deal. But anyway, I was walking up looking at all these different shops, and I stopped in, I got a couple snacks and some chips to climb into the nature reserve because I was like 20 minutes away from the actual entrance into the forest. And a whole bunch of kids were getting out of school at the time. And I got up to the entrance to the nature reserve, and there's a giant sign over the route that is on my map that said private property. And then the main road I was walking on that wasn't the main entrance to the preserve had a path that sort of veered off to the left that wasn't covered by a sign. And I just walked out onto that because it didn't have a private property sign, and maybe that giant sign didn't refer to the whole road and only that one path leading to the nature reserve. Apparently it's private property, someone bought it, so you can't go up into there, as far as I understand. By the sign, they had some details under the private property. Propiedad prohibida. Prohibida. Prividad? Something. Can't remember now. It was a week ago. But that little trail that I did take instead led up into some of the nature reserve, and I was still able to walk in some of the forests, and I just listened to a podcast, and I looked over all of Cusco and all of the mountains from a very high elevation, and it was really cool just to be up there, eating some snacks, drinking. I think I got Inca Cola because I had never tried that before. It's the local popular soda here. It is the color of urine, and it tastes like fruit. Maracuya is yellow. Maybe it's like maracuya based. Yeah, and I just had snacks and drinks and walked along this mountain. I couldn't go as deep as I wanted to, but it was definitely a good hike, and I explored a lot of the neighborhood that I hadn't seen before. So it was pretty cool still. Pretty good hike. My offline maps have this sites feature, and it just tells you all of the local sites that there are. And one of them was called Daniel's House. So there was like ruins of Huacapuncu and the Incan ruins of Hatun and like these different places. And then one was called Daniel's House. And I was so curious about Daniel's house. So I marked it on my map, and on the way down from the nature reserve, I walked through more neighborhoods that I hadn't been to before and wound my way toward Daniel's house, which was a house. There was a house in that area. I guess that was Daniel's house. I'm so curious, like, did Daniel just add his house to sites to see in Cusco, or is it a historical marker and my offline maps has a bad label for it, or what it was? But I just thought that was hilarious that Daniel's house was on the sites to see in Cusco category. Good for Daniel. There are a ton of Chinese restaurants here, and I don't understand. They're very popular, but all of the prices are 2 to 3 times as expensive for the same food of the Chinese restaurant. Because the Chinese restaurant doesn't cook Chinese specialties. They make chow fan. They make fried rice. And Peru has chaufa, which is, obviously an adopted loan word of chow fan, the Chinese word for fried rice. But you can get lomo saltado chaufa, which is beef fried rice, at many Peruvian restaurants, or you can get Nuro chow fan at a Chinese restaurant, which is lomo saltado chaufa, but it's going to be 17, 20, 30 soles. And it's 7 soles or 8 soles for lomo saltado chaufa in the regular restaurants. And in the Chinese restaurants, most of them don't look Chinese. Most of them look like local Peruvians. So I don't get why people go to the Chinese restaurants when it's the same food and it costs so much more. And that is the same in nearly every country I've been to. Chinese food is incredible. Like in China, Chinese food is very cheap. It's $1 for a plate of something, maybe $2 for a plate of something, but you get a huge plate of something for $1 to $2. But every other country in the world, whatever the local food is, even if it's the same as the Chinese food, the Chinese version, if it's in a Chinese restaurant, it doesn't even have to be different food. It costs 2 to 3 times as much. So here, there's all these signs, and it's $8 for a plate of local food, even if it's local Chinese food. But if it's a Chinese restaurant, it's listed as, like I said, 17, 25, 30. Way, way more. It's perplexing. I don't know why that happens in every country. And I'm not sure why. Even more perplexing is that they're usually popular. They are usually still packed with locals who prefer to go to the Chinese restaurant instead of the local restaurant. I don't get it. Lomo saltado. So lomo saltado is marinated beef fried with fried rice or white rice and usually chicha, like this sweet corn drink that's really tasty. You get so much food here. The last thing I had was caldo criollo, and I didn't even order that. I ordered reste norteña, which is a different type of stewed beef. But I ordered the stewed beef for 7 soles. And for 7 soles, which is less than $2, I got criollo caldo, which is Creole soup with a bunch of spices and herbs, and then quinoa and a little bit of milk, it must be, and chicken and vegetables. Like this large beef stew, a large bowl of local stew. That's the first course. And then also I got another huge plate of rice and vegetables and beef stew, like stewed beef actually, and with a little bit of stew on the side. So these 2 huge things and a glass of chicha, that good corn sweet drink that they give at every restaurant, at all the local restaurants anyway. You get all of that for 7 soles for $2. And it's good too. It's good quality. It's fresh. It's tasty. It is very tasty for 7 soles. So I'm going to be eating a lot more local food lately. There's actually a place with some chicken wings. Ooh, I got to find that old lady with chicken wings. Maybe today. Maybe I'll do that today. Anyways, the Chinese restaurants just struck me as odd because I always see those in different countries where everything's more expensive, but I do not understand why. If I'm going to go to all the local foods I want to go to, though, I will probably have to get cash at some point because so few restaurants accept credit cards in Cusco, especially in my neighborhood outside of the city. So I'll probably take out some cash soon. There's a lot of cevicherias, too. There's a cevicheria right across from here, which is just a place that sells ceviche. And I want to try it because the first ceviche I got here was 7 soles, again, so very cheap, $2. And I got a good amount of fish, a bunch of fried rice, a bunch of the ceviche sauce, and a whole bunch of vegetables. $2, and it was absolutely delicious. So I kind of want to get more ceviche, try that out. I have ribs here listed. Have I not talked about the ribs in Cusco yet? That seems insane, but in case I didn't, Cusco, because they're high up in the mountains, does a bunch of smoked ribs and smoked meats, and the local ones are covered in this very bright red ají panca, which is the Peruvian chili pepper, and I could eat... I ate so many of these. I think I've got the ribs half of the days I've been here at least. Probably more. Probably 2/3 of the days I've been here, I've been eating the smoked ribs. All the smoked meats are pre-cooked. They're pre-cooked and then smoked and then covered with this ají panca. And it's so delicious. Actually, the ají panca is first and then they smoke it because the ají panca is like in the meat and it's dried. So they must have smoked it after they put it on there. But it looks crazy because it's bright orange. And so all the meat looks bright orange and red. And yeah, I'll just get a rack of ribs and rip it apart. And it's pretty cheap. It's like $40 for a kilogram. So less than $20 a pound. And that's $6 about. So it's less than $6 a pound for smoked ribs, for a pound of smoked ribs. Probably closer to $5 because it's a kilogram. So less than $5 a pound for smoked ribs. And they're so good. And I'll only buy like 10 soles of one because even half a pound of smoked ribs is plenty of smoked ribs. It's a good amount because all the meat has shrunk since it's dehydrated. So you still get a lot of meat. Oh man, talking about it just makes me want to go get them again. Okay, if I don't get them today, I'm getting them tomorrow. Because yesterday I ate fried ribs. So they make good ribs here for sure in Cusco. They're doing it right. The other dried meat that I found after that I didn't even realize they had was bacon. And that's twice as expensive, but it's still a $5 bag of bacon is a huge amount of bacon. It's a lot of bacon. So I'll get a $4 or $5 bag and that'll be like all my food for the day. A huge thing of bacon. I've been getting a lot of vegetables. I've been making this really good vegetable mix lately. I just minced a whole bunch of different vegetables like carrots, tomatoes, onions, spinach, and some greens. Put them in, mix it up with uchukuta, this spicy Peruvian pepper sauce, and mustard, mayo, just a whole bunch of like seasonings and condiments. And then I mix that up so it's kind of like a dip. And I get the locally made potato chips and eat that like a dip. Even though it's just vegetables, it tastes really good with a little bit of spicy sauce and a little bit of mustard and then some salt and it's great. That's what I ate. Oh man. I have all these plans. I'm going to go eat local food that I haven't eaten yet today, but I really want to get that vegetable dish again too. And I want to get the ribs. I gotta start running too because my stomach's getting bigger eating all this good food all the time. So yeah, I might have to start running again. It's nice that it's cold, so I'm like burning more calories, but it's not that cold. I'm still getting a belly. And I was so proud of how fit I was in Colombia, exercising, running, and exercising every day. I'm still keeping my push-ups and sit-ups going here, but I am not running as much, for show. Let's end this weekly recap on the term chugless, which is from the Minecraft movie. Chugless. It's like the funniest. It's the name of the town in the Minecraft movie that all the characters are from, and I just cracked the frickin' up listening to that word, chugless. Because she says it to her younger brother, like, look, Chris, if you don't like chugless, that doesn't matter. And I was like, chugless? And I nearly spit out my beer that I was sipping while watching it because that's such a funny word. So, chugless to you all. I hope I'm getting across how fun Cusco is to hang out in. And I'll be back with another weekly roundup next week that goes over my visit to the Incan ruins. That is, got some cool stuff there. Got some cool stuff to talk about with the Incan ruins. You can talk to me at bitofarambler@gmail.com or bitofarambler on Blue Sky or bitofarambler on Lemmy, the one I'm on the most. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good rest of your day.